welcome to this episode of CCTV live stream. I am Xu Xingchen, and here with me is...
I'm Zhang Yunying.
So we are live from a very special place in northwest China, China's Shanxi province. So we are here. It's quite a special place, right?
Yeah, it is very special because this place help the planet Earth, help the world to save endangered species, the crested ibis.
The crested ibis, a poetic name. So, Yuying, shall we just tell our viewers a little bit more about this bird? So, what are some characteristics and uniqueness of this bird?
Yes, the first uniqueness of this bird is the outlook of this bird. So you can see its red head. It's not because it has red feather, but because the head is partially bare and showing the red skin. And also you can see the dense crest of the white feather on its neck, and that gave the bird the special name crested ibis.
And actually, crested ibises, back in early 20th century, it can be easily spotted in Northeast Asia, like in Russia, the Korean Peninsula.
The whole Northeast Asia, exactly. Although it is called the Nipponia nippon, which means Japanese bird of Japan, but actually it can be spotted the whole Northeast Asia, as you said, Russia.
Yeah.
And China, most part of China actually, and Korean Peninsula and Japan.
But then, just back to the name, Nipponia nippon. So literally, it can be translated into the Japanese bird of Japan.
Yep.
Because that name was given to a Western explorer.
A Western explorer first discovered the bird in Japan and bring back the specimen to Western, to the Europe. And at that time, they think it's a Japanese special species, and that's how it gets its name. It's a Latin name.
But with that name, Nipponia nippon, and the crested ibis has deep cultural roots in Japan.
Yeah, deep cultural root in Japan as well as in China. In Japanese Shuki, which is the Chronicle of Japan in about 9th century, it is mentioned 3 times in that book. So it has a long historical root and the cultural influence in Japanese history. And in China, they also have a poem which said fluttering crested ibis flying across the spring pond and rest on the green tree, which read about the bird as well as the living habits of it.
And then also, like, the drawings, paintings, and feathers from crested ibises can often be found in decorations for the Imperial House of Japan. So basically, the bird is treated highly in Japan like a royal animal.
Yes,
often used by the Imperial House of Japan.
The aristocracy, they also use the decoration, they also use the shape of the bird and as well as the feather of the bird.
But as we have mentioned, Yuying has mentioned about, this bird is endangered. Actually, the bird was thought to be extinct. But in fact, in Japan, the last Japanese crested ibis died around early 2000 in 2003.
Exactly.
Yes.
The Japanese bird named the king was like 36 years old by then, which if you translate it into human, it will be a 100-year-old bird.
Oh my God, that's an old bird.
Yeah.
But then. And that comes back to where we are in Hanzhong in northwest China's Shanxi province. So basically, this is the heart of the efforts to preserve crested ibises. And we are right now in an ecological park for crested ibises in the county. So where they are actually artificially bred crested ibises. And China also sent some of our crested ibis to Japan to help that country, that island nation, to reproduce like the bird.
The Japanese species, the Japanese group. Actually, a lucky thing is the Chinese crested ibis and the Japanese crested ibis, they don't have any difference. They are just the same species, which means even though it has been extincted in Japan, they can still rebuild the group by introducing Chinese crested ibises.
Great, right? So and we're here inside of, as we have mentioned, we have artificially bred crested ibises, and since we are breeding these birds, and we need specialists to help to do that, right?
Yeah.
And here joining with us is Guo Yanli, a breeder at this park.
你好，郭老师。
你好，你好。
So tell us a little bit about, so because right here we have cages, different cages. What are these cages for? 就我们其实看到这边已经有很多笼子了嘛，笼子里面已经有我们的朱鹮了，但这一部分我们是。
对，这个每个笼子里面都是一对夫妻鸟，就是他们就是一旦选择对方作为伴侣的话，就会从一而终，白头偕老。如果对方死去了，另一方就会从一而终，就是
不再找。
对，不再找。
So right here we have different smaller individual cages for crested ibises, and Ms. Guo just told us that so in these different chambers, those are just a pair, couples.
Yeah, each pair in each cage, and they have chosen their pair, their couple as a lifelong
partner. So that's
yeah.
very rare in actually animals, right? In
Not
birds.
only animals.
Yeah, but for crested ibises, after 2 years old, they're going to find a soul partner, a soulmate for
Yeah,
the rest
the
of
only
their
partner
life.
in their life. Yeah.
但是其实我们看到这边的笼子上面会有名字嘛？这些名字的命名是
这是就是一些爱心人士，就是觉得朱鹮快要灭绝了，他们就献了爱心来认养朱鹮。这个认养朱鹮呢，其实是没有规定、没有限制的，只要大家喜欢谁都可以来认养。认养一对朱鹮呢，一年的费用呢最少得2万元人民币。比如我们现在看的这个朱鹮就是斯巴鲁汽车公司来认养的，取名为思思和玲玲。这个就是在2018年的时候来认养的。
就这个名字也是斯巴鲁他们来
就是
命名的嘛？
对这个名字是你，比如说比方说你来认养的话，你就可以取一个你喜欢的名字，这个是没有规定、没有限制的。
So Ms. Guo has just told us that for those people who who value this kind of precious bird, they can donate and they can
adopt, but,
Yeah,
but you cannot
adopt
take them
this.
home. But
No, no
you can
chance.
help this park to raise them up. And right here we have the Subaru is the donor for these pair named Sisi and Ling Ling. And actually Subaru gave the name to these two birds. Oh, right there. Oh. And 李阳，我们天上的那个。So in addition to
又飞过来了。
上面有一个。
There.
So in addition to
Look up
artificially bred crested ibises, and here in Yangtze there are also over 2,000 crested ibises living in the wild.
Yeah, live in Yangxian, and it's a rural area and a place nearby, and they live in the wild. They live on the rice field. They live in the rice field and live on the little fish in the rice field.
So look at
Look
that.
at that. Look at that.
Look into the cage. Sisi and Ling Ling are, I think,
Enjoying
snuggling,
their
I
mating
guess.
season, I guess.
So 其实我们现在是刚过了这个交配季节，对吗？
对，刚过了繁殖的季节，在每年的4、5月份的时候，它就繁育期间，5月底可能来看到小幼鸟、小朱鹮。我们后面有一些小朱鹮，我们去看看。
好的。
So in every April and May is the reproduction season, the mating season for these crested ibis. And if we are lucky enough, then the chick, the young crested ibis will come out, will be hatched by June. So there are some small jewels. We are small crested ibises. We are going to take a look at.
Yes. And so for all these pairs and couples, did they actually lay any eggs this year? 就是我们园内的这个朱鹮今年也有产卵，对吗？
有产卵，不管是在我们这个人工孵化，或者是我们的一个半野生的这个这个驯养基地，都有产卵。
So just Ms. Guo just told me that actually they are even for artificially bred crested ibises, they also laid eggs during this year's mating season, and also they have bays, like mimicking the wild, the nature, and crested ibises over there also laid eggs this year.
And they will just try to hatch the egg by themselves. If the pair live in the cage, if they have an egg, they will try to hatch it by themselves.
So 我们现在这边看到的是
这个
这
建筑。
边是我们人工孵化的一个就是这个地方，你看我们可以看到有治疗室、孵化室和育雏室。今年呢，就是我们这个人工孵化了，大概成活了9只朱鹮，小朱鹮非常的成功。我们就是每年为什么会人工孵化呢？就是因为我们要把这个技术一直传承下去，不要遗失，就是以后呢，不管是在朱鹮或者其他的保护动物上，都有这个技术的传承。
Even Yuying told us that local conservationists will let the crested ibises chew, even though artificially bred crested ibises to help hatch their own eggs.
Yeah.
But then they also do
Some.
some by man, and they're going to hatch some of the eggs because they are
Just
trying
there.
to continue their technological breakthroughs. And right there we have the incubating center, which the experts and breeders like Guo and Li will actually help hatch some of the eggs in there. And Miss Guo just told us they successfully hatched 9 eggs this year.
So we have 9 little, very, very small. They may not be able to fly now. The crested ibis there.
Yes.
I guess.
And actually, crested ibises I know they grow fast. 就是其实那个朱鹮长得很快，对吗？
对，成长速度非常快，一般出壳40天到45天以后，它就体型几乎和成鸟一样大，然后就可以出飞，自己去觅食，自力更生。
So after 40 or when they are 40 or 50 days old, they are almost as large as the adult birds, and they can try to fly by then, and they can go to find food by then.
And right there we have some young crested ibises. I believe these are younger ones, right?
这些应该是很年轻的。
这是今年新出壳的幼鸟，大概已经有2个月了。
So they are. Miss Guo just told us they are 2 months old. So 怎么去辨别是年幼的鸟和成鸟呢？
我们可以看到小朱鹮的脸呢是橙色的，然后它的羽毛是青灰色的。我们一会儿可以看到成鸟呢，它脸是朱红色的，羽毛呢是灰黑色的。
So Ms. Guo has just told us that the young birds, they have an orange face instead of the red face we have just seen. And for those younger ones, their color is more like more
grayish feather,
with white. And but for the larger one, they have gray. They have a quite gray color during this reproduction season.
就其实我们这边。就是因为我知道有个小故事，就是因为我们人工养殖和野外经常会放在一起养，但是我们有一个成功案例，对吗？我们可以讲一下。
有一个，我们在最后一个农舍，我们去看一下。这个是今年就是在野外救治的一只小朱鹮，它是从很高的一个树上掉下来，但是呢，它是非常健康的。经过我们这个园子里边对它的身体一个鉴定呢、检测呢，它是非常健康的一只鸟。所以呢，我们放到我们最后14号网笼，它也是有一个小宝宝的。然后把这个小宝宝和它这个放在一起，然后就是经过我们观察呢，就是非常成功，还有给喂食非常的就是像一家子一样的，没有那种距离感。
李阳，我们看一下他们的一家子，
对，
在最后一个
我们可以看到，你看，刚好今天在一起站着，你看。
So Miss Guo just told us a story, a quite interesting story, just because even though there are no major difference between artificially bred crested ibises and crested ibises from the wild. Experts they don't really mix them together just because
they seldom do that.
Because they're afraid of like germs, viruses, diseases like the birds from the wild can actually spread if they mix them together. However, there is one successful case this year. It's like one of those fledglings from the wild, rescued from the wild, and locals, experts and breeders like Guo and Li, they found the bird is healthy enough to actually to be brought here.
Yeah.
And those artificially bred adult
they happen
ibises
to have one baby this year, and so it's really possible. It's possible for them to raise another child.
And they didn't reject that foreign bird, and that's the most amazing part. Is because we think
they
about
accept it just as a family.
Yeah, and we think about animals from the wild, and animals like birds. Sometimes they don't really treat like foreign entities as friendly as their own.
No.
But right there, we have a happy family of 4, and one of the birds is actually like adopted, right?
Yeah, I think it's on the right. Maybe the rightist or the second right one.
Is it because it's pretty far? 我们其实只是通过它的那个
脚
环才能看出来是哪只，对吗？
对对对，我们可以从它脚环上看，表面的话，它体型啊、外观几乎都是一样的，所以不好区别。这个
So
家禽非常非常的和谐。
they almost have the same shape, so you cannot really tell which one is from the wild and which one is artificially bred.
Here, yeah.
But they have rings on their feet, and if you go close enough, it could be possible to tell them apart.
So because they all have these bands on their ankle, and local scientists are tracking all those birds just because, as we have mentioned, it's an endangered species. And the last Japanese crested ibis died many years ago.
Yeah.
And actually, right now around the world there are about 5,000.
That's the number around the whole world, which include both China. Yangtze, of course, is the main habit of it, and the whole China, of course, the Shanxi province and Henan province, and in Korean Peninsula, Korea, Republic of Korea mainly,
Yes.
and Japan. I think there are 550, a little bit more than that in Japan.
And we can safely say these birds are actually descendants from crested ibises, like found here
from here.
in Yangxian County.
Yeah.
其实郭老师啊，就是因为讲了我们看了很多鸟了，但是其实作为饲养员，我们一天的工作是哪些呢？就是I'm going to translate first. So I just asked Mr. Guo, just as a good breeder, what's their daily duties?
我们平时呢，就是早上呢，就是给朱鹮每天要投2次食。早上
一边走一边讲。
早上呢就大概就是8点半左右，然后呢每只鸟的投食量呢是150到200克左右一次啊。下午呢就是2点到2点半左右。但是呢，我们这个像这个春季春季、夏季和秋季的，还有冬季这个吃食的这个。
种类
是不一样的。我们在冬季的时候，因为由于泥鳅也比较少，然后冬天呢，就是天气也比较冷，就是活动量也比较少。为了增加它们这个需求量呢，它们的能量，然后我们就给它加了这个钙片呀、胡萝卜呀，还有一些鸡蛋呀、奶粉呀之类的，然后纯瘦牛肉，然后要搅碎之后调和饲料，搅在一起，然后冬天能给它们吃。
So Mr. Guo just told us how they actually feed and breed all these crested ibises here in this ecological park in Yangxian County in Shanxi province. So they basically feed the birds twice a day.
Twice a day.
One in the morning
one around 8:30, and one in the afternoon.
Around 2 in the afternoon.
Yep.
So during the time like these warmer days, they're going to feed the birds with a louch.
With louch in the warmer days like spring, summer, and part of the
early autumn,
early autumn, I guess. Yeah.
But during like colder days, just because
to
England
provide more energy for the bird, and they will have a more abundant diet. It's quite abundant, I would say. They have egg, they have carrots, they have beef as the main material, and they mix them together to feed the bird with it.
And also Ms. Guo just shared a very, very technical thing to feed crested ibis. It's like for each bird, they're going to feed about 150 to 200 grams per
for
meal,
each meal.
For each meal.
Yeah.
So actually, they eat a lot, I guess, compared to the size of it.
Yeah, they have a rather comparatively small size, but they quite eat a lot, and they really need much energy, I think.
And actually, crested ibises are meat lovers, right? They eat meat often.
As she has just told us, the loach and the beef, that's the
protein.
meat. Yeah.
就其实我们讲到那个朱鹮是肉食动物，对吗？
对，朱鹮是肉食动物。在我们这个人工饲养下，就是早上吃的，比如说冬天的话，早上吃的还是那个泥鳅，下午吃牛肉。然后在野外的话，它主要是以软体小昆虫为主食，青蛙、小鱼、小虾、田螺为它的主食。
And Ms. Guo just told us that for crested ibises from the wild, they basically eat insects and frogs, and also other shellfish and etc.
And small fish, loach, of course, they have loach in the wild.
So right there we have a very large cage right there. 就是郭老师，我们这个网笼是主要的一些作用是。
这个网笼呢是主要就是驯化朱鹮在野外的一个生存的那个能力，比如说它野外的飞翔能力、自然觅食能力，在这里驯化上以后呢，就是它最终我们要是把这个朱鹮要放归于自然界的，不可能永远保护起来，
对，
因为它是大自然的一种精灵，这是大自然的一种鸟类，我们不可能永远圈起来，所以呢，在这里边经过长期的一个野化训练之后呢，最终会放生于自然界，这是一个放生之前的一个驯化过程，
一个
驯化基地。
So this is a training base.
Yes, it is a training base for crested ibises, and it provides room for them to learn to fly. And
learn to find food, learn to hunt by themselves.
Yes, because this like closed-off environment is basically mimicking what the wild is like.
They have the white land inside. They have the tree, the willow, and of course some food inside the pond.
就是我们这个基本上它的有多少只呢？它是按面积来需要合理分配，对吗？
对，在这个野外的话，它这个面积可能要稍微广一点、大一点。一只鸟的占地呢，大概最少得100平方米左右。这里边有目前只有 40多只。
So there are some 40 crested ibis inside this large case, and each of them will enjoy like some 100 square meters.
And because that's the minimum requirement for crested ibises
to live happily.
happily.
Yeah.
那么像您讲到了，其实我们还有一个大的网笼，对吗？
更大的
在华阳，也是在我们阳县，这个大的基地呢，也是全世界唯一的一个这个捉环饲养最大的一个基地。
啊。
那个占地呢，大概是6000多万平方，6000多平方米。
So basically, even though we saw this gigantic cage for crested ibis, there's another one in Yangxian County.
Even larger.
Allegedly, it's the largest base for artificially breeding crested ibises around the world.
Yeah.
So that's about 6,000 square.
6,000.
我们的面积是
60,000.
是六
说3万
多。
啊3万
多
Yeah.
3万
36,000 square meters in that one. This one is just like 6,000, more than 6,000, and that one is 6 times as this one.
So it's close to 6 times,
Yeah.
5 times bigger than this one. So basically, in Yangxian, local experts are artificially breeding about roughly 200 crested ibises right now, and right now, sometimes they send those crested ibis to zoos and to other parts of the world, so that actually people can see this bird, this magical bird.
Exactly, and if you just keep all bird in one nest, then if there's some flu for them, and it will be hard, it will be dangerous for the species as well. So the artificial bred bird will be sent to everywhere in the world, in some big zoos, other parts of the world, and to keep the species live in more parts,
Definitely, yeah.
more part of the world.
So as we have mentioned, this is an ecological park, and it's open for tourists to come in to visit. And right there is the 观鸟台，对吧？
对，观鸟台，这就是让游客可以拍到这个周环在里边的那个生活环境，就是不用那个网子隔着，会有影响。这个窗户呢，也就是为了游客方便拍摄。
So it's an observation station for the birds lovers and for photographers to really see the bird, really take a look at it and film it. There are glass all over, and they can look through the glass and to have a better view of the crested ibises.
Because our tourists can still not enter into the cages
No, not a chance.
for a lot of safety reasons and for the health
Exactly.
of those birds.
Of birds.
And this, I believe, is the end of the ecological part. But we have more coming up. But I need to say goodbye to our breeder and help us a lot. 好，谢谢您，郭老师，谢谢您，好，谢谢您，谢谢您，谢谢您，谢谢您。So as we have mentioned, this ecological park only has, not only has, because we have
only.
one wild bird, one bird from the wild,
Yeah.
but mainly inside of this park is
Artificially bred birds here in this ecological park, and some like 70, more than 70. The whole park has more than 70 birds here.
Yes, but of course that as we have mentioned, there are also crested ibises from the wild.
Exactly.
And yesterday, and we were lucky enough that we ran into a group of conservationists setting free some of the crested ibises rescued from the wild.
Yeah.
And I believe our colleagues at Beijing at the control room are going to roll off some footages that we caught yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah, it was so lucky that we could really see the process, because it's a common mission for them, but
Yes.
it's rare to be seen by us. And the mission, they said they conducted the mission last year like 200 times.
Yeah, but saving like 150 crested ibises
in the wild.
from the wild.
Yeah.
And yesterday, we saw a group of two conservationists set off like about 3 crested ibises. They were just like fledglings.
Yeah, they were
baby
just
crested,
fledglings, really rather young compare with the adult one we saw today. They were just the young birds, and they have orange face, but they have just tried to fly, because these days. The Yang County area is full of rain, and it's quite slippery, and some birds will drop from the top of from their nest, and some will get injured because of trying to fly. And three birds were set free yesterday by the conservationists, and 2 of them can already fly.
Yes, and one actually they rescued the earliest, but then I cannot remember if he's a he or she, but that
No.
bird was too scared, and we saw that actually he was pretty reluctant to actually fly away, and the conservationists told us that two reasons why is the first reason for that bird not leaving them is that
It is a little scared. It is a little scared.
And the second reason, the second reason is as Yun has mentioned, that because of the recent rains, the feathers are wet. It's harder for them to fly.
Yeah.
So what did they do for that? The bird doesn't want to leave.
Well, actually, it was a little bit scared as well as the first two. But when they let the first two go out, they quickly get used to the environment, to the familiar environment in the wild. But and they flew away. But this last one, even they put it in the rest field and gave it a chance to go back home, but but the bird refused to leave, and it just stayed there. And so finally, the conservationists had to take it back, and they will raise it for several other days and wait it to get better and better condition, better weather actually, and it will. Hopefully it will fly.
Yeah, and that happens to those animal lovers a lot, bird lovers a lot.
Yeah.
And as the number of crested ibises from the wild continue to increase, and they are expecting to see more rescue missions this year.
Possible more rescue missions.
I'm going to ask my cameraman to pan a little bit right here. So we are outside of a museum for crested ibises. And as we have mentioned multiple times about the linkage between China and Japan on helping protect crested ibises, and this museum actually is donated by
a Japanese foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to learn a little bit more about the history and just more details about the journey for locals and Japan and China to help bring these species back. We were inside of the museum, and we need a little bit of help from this beautiful girl and the guide for the museum and Gao Qian.
Gao Qian.
So, how long have you been working here? 就是您在这边已经有工作多少年了
3年多了。
3年多了。So
3 years.
Gao has been working here for like 3 years as a tour guide. 就是我们现在这个宣教楼有几个部分啊？
这个主要呢就是分为1楼的有一个介绍朱鹮的一个宣传教育篇，2楼呢是这个朱鹮及其伴生鸟类的一个标本陈列，3楼呢主要就是从我们保护最早期发现朱鹮到保护朱鹮的一个图片资料。
So basically, there are three stories here, and on the first floor they have
A video for promo of the protection of crested ibis, and in the second floor we have the specimens. Yeah.
And right now we are on the second floor, and the third floor is all just pictures,
pictures.
photos. So why we chose this floor, because it's so special, we can see actual specimens of the birds. And one very, very important, very special one is right here. Is the bones of a crested ibis called Long Long. So can you tell us a little bit more about why this bird is so special? 就是我们这个龙龙它的这个故事是怎样的呢？
这个龙龙呢，它这个骨骼标本是非常珍贵的，在1994年9月下旬的时候呢，我们中国的林业部和日本环境厅他们签署了2次的合作协议，将我们陕西洋县朱鹮繁殖中心的一对朱鹮，就是龙龙和凤凤，出借到日本，供于他们进行这个人工繁殖的一个研究。但是非常不幸的是呢，在12月17日，龙龙呢在日本不幸患病死亡了，这个繁殖工作呢未能继续开展下去。在95年的上半年呢，这个日本的饲养员将凤凤与日本的雄性朱鹮进行了婚配，在婚配以后呢，凤凤产下了5枚卵，但当时呢，由于日本的朱鹮已经个体老化，丧失了这个繁殖后代的能力，那这个5枚卵呢未能成功的繁殖出小朱鹮，所以呢，在同年的6月，龙龙和凤凤一起被返送回了中国。
好，我们先翻译一下。
So for this special Long Long crested ibis, it was borrowed by China to Japan in 1994. In early 1990s, Japanese government tried to rebuild their crested ibises group, but they do not have enough crested ibises, so they borrowed this one. one, and another one called Fengfeng from China. This pair of crested ibises was sent in 1994 late September, but in the same year, December, the Longlong had an accident in Japan and it passed away. And Fengfeng get the other one, the female one, get paired with another Japanese crested ibises, but by then the Japanese ones were too old to be reproductive, and which resulted the failure of that time's mission. And by 1995, this species, this specimen and its partner Fengfeng, the live crested ibis, was sent back to China.
Mm-hmm. But still, it started this collaboration, international collaboration, cooperation between China and Japan to actually help bring crested ibises back. 就其实龙龙凤凤之后，我们还有别的猪环，其实是送去，甚至是借给日本，也甚至送给日本。
随后呢，在1998年的时候，原国家主席江泽民赠送给日本一对猪环，当时呢取名为友友和洋洋。友友呢
Let's translate first. So in 1998, and the president,
then President Jiang Zemin sent a pair of crested ibises to Japan named Yo-Yo and Yang Yang. Yo-Yo actually in Chinese means the friendship or the friends, and Yang Yang got the name from this Yang County. Yang County.
对。那在半年后呢，友友和洋洋就繁殖成功，产下一只小猪环，此时呢取名为悠悠，小悠悠。当时
So let's translate a little bit. So basically, a few years later, and Yo-Yo and Yang Yang successfully hatched a baby named Yo-Yo. So basically, in Chinese, it sounds the same, but it's a different character. And he's a male, I believe. 是公的当时对吧？悠悠。
对。
那之后呢？
之后呢，在这个小悠悠呢，他们在日本无法寻找配偶，在2000年的时候呢，我们原国家总理朱镕基提供了一只猪环，美美送到了日本。和悠悠进行配对，然后呢，优美就是一个幸福的小家庭了。
So as we have just mentioned, the Japanese crested ibises were too old then to be to be reproductive. So they have to ask Japanese government had to ask the Chinese government to send another one, a wife for the small male Yo-Yo to. So they find another. Crested ibises named Mei Mei, a female one, and they sent it to Japan, and they formed a small happy family.
And Yo-Yo Mei Mei, and in Chinese characters, Yo Mei is like a beautiful. It means like beautiful, elegant. Is a very poetic name actually, and also very loving pair. But here in Yangtze or in this part of Shanxi, the natural reserve is actually pretty protected, and we have forests like Qingling Mountains, one of the most protected forests here in China. There are other species, and very, very important species, and even some are endangered. 就是其实我们现在就是还有洋县，其实还能看到其他的一些珍贵物种，对吗？
在洋县境内呢，除了我们能看到非常珍稀的猪环，像这个在洋县的华阳景区呢，这个秦岭四宝齐聚一地，这个也是非常罕见的。像我们现在眼前看到呢，这个呢就是也属于国家的1级保护动物，它是羚牛，又被称作为金毛牛角羚，当地人呢俗称它为羊子呀、山羊之类的。
也能叫山羊。
羊子，当地人俗称是这样子的。它学名是金毛牛角羚。它你看这个成年这个羚牛，它的毛色呢是这种金黄色的。你看这个羚牛近距离看到它的这个前蹄是非常长而直的，后蹄呢是短而弯曲一些的。它这个蹄子呢是这种偶蹄，是呈分叉状的，非常便于它这个处于这个高山攀爬。它就是经常呢就是分布在这个喜马拉雅这个高山密林地区，也属于是一种大型的食草动物。
这个下面是它的英文名字吗？
应该是 takin.
Yeah, so this takin is one of the 4 treasures or 4 most valuable animals in Qingling Mountains, and it is called by local people goat.
Right? Mountain goats.
Yeah, mountain goat, and you can see the golden fur of it, and it is the very character of this kind of takin, and you can see the
longer fur legs and shorter.
Back legs, which is good for it to climb mountains and run in the mountainous area.
And then we have pandas here. We have giant pandas in Qingling as well. 就其实我们秦岭也有大熊猫，但秦岭大熊猫其实和四川大熊猫是有区别的吗？
对，是的， 现在大熊猫品种呢，它就是分为这个秦岭大熊猫和四川大熊猫。像在我们这个洋县境内看到这个呢，它属于是秦岭大熊猫。那秦岭大熊猫呢，它的毛色是偏棕一点的，而四川大熊猫呢，它的整体毛色是黑白相间的。而且呢，在我们这个秦岭大熊猫呢，它的熊猫这个头骨较小，整体形态呢偏猫科类多一点，看着呢是非常憨厚可爱的。而且在这个四川大熊猫，它是个头骨较长，是偏熊科类多一些。
So basically, right here we are seeing giant panda from Qingling area. It looks similar to pandas from Sichuan, but there are a few differences. First is the color of the fur, like red. 这是其实真熊猫的标本，对吧？
对，真实的。
So actually, this is a specimen from a real panda. We can see the fur is brownish. It's not just the pure black and white as we have seen from Sichuan. And then the structure of the panda is also different. Like if we look at the head, like Gao just told us, like for pandas found here, they have smaller heads and shorter nose.
Yeah, shorter nose, and which make it looks more like a cat instead of a bear.
Yes, but if we look at like pandas from Sichuan, and the skull is a lot larger, and the nose, like pointy nose, looks, as Yuying has mentioned, more bearish.
Yeah,
looks more like a bear. And right there we have, of course, crested ibises.
And what about this one? Could you introduce us more about this lovely monkey?
So we also have like golden snub-nosed monkeys, 金丝猴。其实金丝猴常见吗？这边？
对，金丝猴还是比较常见，这个种群数量呢也非常多。在这个秦岭这个华阳景区这个山区里边，这个金丝猴是非常多的，而且它们是这个集大群活动的，是以家族为单位的这种集群活动，经常都能看到大片大片的这个金丝猴。
So it's also very frequent for locals to actually saw golden snub-nosed monkeys around this area, and they move as a family.
A very large family, not like crested ibises. Crested ibises, they have a family of two parents and several child field, but this one, like tens of them will move together.
Yeah, as a family. That's just because monkeys, they're monkeys, right?
Yeah, they're monkeys.
So these four different treasures
of Qingling Mountains, or for most valuable animals in the Qingling Mountain area.
And they're all protected. And right there we have a map. And this map basically outlines the natural reserve for Yangxian. 就其实这是我们自然保护区的一个
区划图啊，对，这个是我们保护区根据它的职能要求划分的一个区划图。在这个里边呢，我们能看到有3个区域，就是分为核心区、缓冲区，还有这个试验区。核心区呢，主要在每年朱鹮的繁殖区域，是我们保护区的核心重点区域。
好，我们先翻译一下。So we have all those red dots right there. We have 核心区, which means it's the core area for the natural reserve, and then we have this cushion area, and we have the area for experiment. 实验区是这边对吧？是这边是实验区。So basically, for the core of this natural reserve is where those crested ibises from the wild they mate each other.
They mate and they give birth. They nest there and they give birth to their next generation in the core protection area. Yeah.
其实我们之前的7只朱鹮也是在核心区找到的吗？
对，最早7只朱鹮呢，就是我们看到这个姚家沟。最早发现朱鹮就是在这个姚家沟这个地方。
I guess we need to flash back to history because I believe Yuying and I forgot to mention this part. Just as we have mentioned, crested ibis, the number of crested ibises started to decrease sharply in later 20th century. But the good news is that in early 1981, people found a group of last 7 crested ibises here in Yangxian County.
Crested ibises in the wild, and 4 of them were 2 pairs, and they were adult birds, and 3 of them are just fledglings. And it gave an evidence that the crested ibises,
from China, found here in China,
very rare in the wild, they can still give birth to, they can still reproduce themselves, and it is still possible for this group, though endangered, they can still recover by themselves. And Japanese government actually in 1981 has caught 5 wild crested ibises as well. They decided to put them in the conservationist center. They put them in captive, and they protected by they protected in the center. But that 5-1 were too old
That's
to
what I
give
mentioned
birth
multiple
to
times,
new babies, and so Japanese crested ibises failed to reproduce themselves. But Chinese ones, when they found it, they didn't. After they discussed that they didn't put them in human
captives
right
away.
Yeah, right away. They instead they form a four people group, and they follow the crested ibises, the 7 ibises everywhere, every day, everywhere, like 24/7, and to every trees they fly, and they just put a tent under the tree, and they will watch it all the day, so to protect them from the wild enemies, their natural enemies, and other maybe people who do not know that crested ibises, they may hurt them.
Hunt them down.
So that was a great success, and the Chinese crested ibises recovered slowly after then. And that 7 crested ibises were found here.
Yeah, and around the core area of the natural reserves. 那我们缓冲区是做什么的？
缓冲区呢，就是每年在朱鹮有这个游荡觅食区，向这个繁殖区季节性迁徙的一个过渡地带。
So basically, the cushion area is where even crested ibises right now, they don't really migrate away from Yangtze, but they do move a little. So the cushion area is where they travel when the birds travel from the core area to other places to feed themselves, to find food. 那实验区呢？
实验区呢，就是每年朱鹮繁殖结束之后呢，它就会集大群出去游荡。那实验区的主要作用呢，就是夏秋季朱鹮的游荡、觅食及其他夜宿的一个主要区域了。
So they also have this kind of environmental zone. So basically, that's when the crested ibis start to fly like farther away from Yangtze, but they are not going to leave Yangtze at this moment, according to experts. So basically, that's the experimental zone.
The experimental zone, yeah. As Ms. Gao has just mentioned, they will, after they finish their mating season, they will travel around, and they will moving around the core area or where they give birth to. And so the experimental area is kept for them to traveling around, just flying around and hunt for food and enjoy themselves, I guess.
Okay, very informative. 谢谢您，非常感谢您，谢谢您，高老师。So I guess we are running out of time, but then I think we need to wrap up a little bit right here. So crested ibis, as we have mentioned, is an endangered species, and right now around the world there are about almost 5,000, and it is quite safe to say most of them are descendants of the 7 last found here from Yangxian County. And as we have mentioned, there's a friendship on international cooperation on protecting the crested ibis has been built between China and Japan. And in total, 7 crested ibises from China have been gifted to Japan to help the island country
to rebuild their groups, and there was 7 actually from the very first one. The very first pair was Yo-Yo and Yang-Yang, as we had just mentioned, and the second one, the second time, the third one, Mei was sent and to as their let's say Yo-Yo and Yang-Yang's daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law, of course, definitely. And right now, as Yuying mentioned a few minutes ago, like in Japan, there are about 550 crested ibises already. So basically, according to experts, that's a really safe number. It means it still is an endangered species, but it's not threatened by extinction at this moment. But I believe the battle is not ending anytime soon.
No, according to the Liu Yinzeng, that's the bird expert who found that 7 expert. He said the group will the number of the population of the group will be should be at least 20,000, and that bird is away from danger. But as it is just 5,500, almost 5,000 crested ibis in the around the world. So we would say it's still endangered. It's not that it's not that safe. Although it has been far from extinction, but it's not that safe.
And I hope our viewers from around the world, across the world, learn something from our episode, and hope you enjoy it. And for now, I guess we need to say goodbye, and hope you enjoyed the show, and you enjoyed the look of the crested ibis. It's a beautiful bird with the red skin
and
the feather,
the crest over its neck.
And thanks for watching.
Thank you.
But before we go, we're going to ask my cameraman to pan to this beautiful art piece on these art pieces we saw other crescent ibises, right? Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching.